But today, my story takes us back to Florida because a Florida initiative to legalize medical marijuana home cultivation will not appear on the 2024 ballot, you guys. That's right. You got a little womp, womp, womp there, Adam. There we go. Mariah Barnhart told Marijuana Moment that her campaign would be unable to pay the necessary fees to have signatures validated by the state officials because the campaign hadn't raised enough money to cover those costs. Barnhart announced that the medical HomeGrow measure nearly a year and a half ago, explaining that it was intended to run parallel to an industry-backed initiative to legalize medical marijuana for adults. According to the most recent fundraising numbers, the campaign has collected $4,060, but hasn't increased since September. A year ago, a TrueLeaf spokesperson told Marijuana Moment that the company was supporting Barnhart's HomeGrow initiative, but the company did not donate any money to the campaign, according to the state records. Barnhart said that the most grassroots medical marijuana efforts lack the necessary resources to call for change, and she hopes TrueLeaf and another company will sponsor a HomeGrow initiative for 2026. In comments to Marijuana Moment this week, she insisted she remains optimistic that the measure will pass in 2026 if it is refiled in 2024. She said the funds have come in first and the measure is too far along to give up on. The Florida Attorney General's office filed the challenge to the TrueLeaf-backed adult use legalization ballot initiative, arguing that the language is misleading and that voters would not understand what marijuana would remain illegal at the federal level, and if approved, the measure would change the state constitution to allow medical cannabis companies to sell marijuana to adults 21 and over. Home cultivation by consumers would not be allowed under the proposal as drafted, and Florida's marijuana legalization initiative would generate between $195.6 million and $431.3 million in the new sales tax revenue annually if voters enacted it. And those figures could increase considerably if lawmakers impose an additional excise tax on cannabis transactions. DeSantis signed a bill that took effect over the summer that added restrictions to medical marijuana advertising and manufacturing and prohibited sales of consumable hemp products to people under 21. But there is going to be no HomeGrow on the ballot this November in Florida. So what do you guys think about this? Do you think it'll actually make it onto the ballot in 2026, or is this just a pipe dream for all Floridians? And this is Jason Beck for the High at 9 News. What do y'all think?
If you don't have a budget,
womp womp again, because I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, Ron.
you can't put together the money and the opinions from people. They're going to get this on the ballot. And you shouldn't be running an initiative. I'm sorry. Been involved in too many of these. They cost millions of dollars, and you need to have attorneys involved, marketers. You got to have people with legislative experience and money. Because you got to, you pay for these signatures. Mm-hmm. And this sounds like it was a half-baked, unintended, smoke some good weed and let's put an initiative on the ballot. Yeah, well, that's not enough. That's like trying to run a business without knowing what the fuck a business is. Mm-hmm. This is nuts.
Half-baked.
No, it ain't going to make it unless somebody steps in as a sugar daddy and does this the right way.
That's right. That's right, Dale.
They should have ran this by TrueLeaf.
They said TrueLeaf was gonna pay for it, and then TrueLeaf never provided no money, and we all knew that TrueLeaf was just gaslighting this girl. Come on.
How much have they sunk into that adult use bill? Like tens of millions, right?
Exactly. And why do they want to pay for something that they believe, from their perspective, is going to compete with their market share?
Right. We know from every other state that MSOs are against.
Yes. HomeGrow. Yep. Exactly right.
So are U.S. attorneys, because that's how cartels grow weed and make so much money.
Oh, look at that, Dale. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the proper way to go about this is why does TrueLeaf not teach people how to grow? Why don't you?
Because there's no HomeGrow. They'd be getting their people arrested.
One day I envision a world where communities will have beautiful crops of marijuana and they're all growing it together, and people have peace pipes and they sit down and they're smoking and enjoying beautiful plants. Mm-hmm. And then I wake up and I see things for what it really is. I'm just gonna smoke in my house. Mind my business.
That's some good weed, right, Tony?
Exactly. Exactly. Any thoughts on this, Rochelle? HomeGrow in Florida on the ballot.
I'm not surprised in the least that Trulieve didn't do what they said they were going to do. I feel bad. They've only been able to raise $4,000 in change.
That sounds pitiful. I mean, I wouldn't even be putting this out in the news if that was the case.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. And I'm curious, though, as to why more people down there wouldn't contribute to this. Like, what are they doing wrong that they're not able to?
The initial funds that was given to them wasn't allocated appropriately. If they did, then they would have had enough buzz from the young people, or younger people, or more energized group of marijuana users, and then they would have actually used that to try to do something to get more people interested into investing. Because corporations or even people with money, when they see that you have the ability to sell or have a large following, then they'll be willing to invest in you. Just so you just talk about their product, but they didn't take any of the initial funding that they had and did anything, especially social media wise, to create such a buzz that other corporations would continue to buy into it, or even investors would invest into trying to get it, keep it on the ballot and make it happen.
But Tony, the Florida, the grassroots Florida cannabis community, they just have not shown up. As we reported earlier, when it was first announced that Trulieve had raised that magic $40 million for the ballot initiative, only $428 other than Trulieve's efforts were involved in that. $428.
And that's what I'm saying, though, Rico. So now, knowing that much, right?
Nobody's
you
behind
take some of the money you have and you advertise to the people, so you can try to get them to get.
They should have been advertising this on college campuses up and down the state, right? And get all those little wokies in Florida behind this.
You know what? We can go back to the Ron DeSantis story from Monday. So we can go back to the Ron DeSantis story from Monday and talk about that. Like, yeah, there's so many college campuses, but Ron DeSantis is wrecking shop at the college campuses.
He's not wrecking shop at campuses.
Florida has all of these teachers leaving.
So look, watch this. Look.
Probably because they're bad. Probably because they're bad teachers.
And you have Ron DeSantis versus Gates and Trulieve and them, and it's going to be a battle. Yes. As soon as he comes back, he's going to be pissed because Donald Trump whipped his ass, and they still don't have a real front runner, and Republicans are going to be all butthurt and all that stuff.
Well, they've been had a front runner. He was just,
because Florida's going to be the loser because Ron DeSantis is going to prove himself as the next Kristi Noem.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? It's almost like, and this is a holiday tale, it's almost as if they are treating Trump as if he's Rudolph. It's like they're not letting him play any reindeer games right now. They're not letting him play no reindeer games right now. But all of a sudden, when it comes election time, he's going to come through and shine the light and win the race because he's going to be the lead reindeer.
So Trump's going to come through and he's going to say that he's going to make Florida move forward with cannabis. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying. No. He's Rudolph in this story.
No. No, I don't think that Donald Trump is going to make marijuana legal in Florida, and I think Ron the sanctimonious Santis is going to come back with the little man complex, and he's going to make sure it never gets on the ballot.
I mean,
Matt Gaetz never.
Anybody like that guy?
Your boy
no
Matt
one
Gaetz,
likes that guy.
If he really wanted this to move forward, then he never should have gone against Ron the sanctimonious.
So boy. Well, coming up next. What's that?
Matt Gaetz will be running for governor.
Yes. I announced that first here on the show. A number of it's like almost like over a couple months ago.
Hey, he got my vote.
Yep. Exactly. I'd vote for Matt for governor in a heartbeat. But nonetheless,